What's up, guys, and welcome back to Software and Audio Solutions. And today we're talking about Battlefield 6 and the best settings you can use right now at this very moment of the time of recording. All right. So I'm going to show you the best settings to use right now at this very moment for all users out there. It doesn't matter what machine you are running. You could be running a laptop, a desktop computer, a pre-built machine, a custom-built machine, a low-end machine, medium-end machine, high-end machine. It doesn't matter what you're running. I'm going to give you the best settings for all those type of machines in general. All right, so obviously you're going to come to the settings icon over here, come to graphics, and you're going to come to graphics itself. Now, obviously you got this over here where it says performance preset, and then what performance preset will do is you can either have it at performance or you can have it at balance. So what balance will do is it will balance out the performance and the quality of your game. You can try this out. I don't really recommend it, but you can go ahead and try it out. What I recommend is custom. Have this at custom. I do really recommend just running it like this at this very moment. Just in general, I recommend having your game at custom settings and not performance. But you can go ahead and try that out if you want to do so. So then you have this one over here, which is the graphics quality. You can have this at auto. It will then automatically pick up what machine you are running and automatically apply the settings to you. Now, the game is not fully out, so bear that in mind, because currently at this very moment I am running a 14700K CPU and a 4070 Super graphics card, and at auto graphics quality this game puts it at low. I'm talking about low, the lowest the graphics can go to for some fuck reason. I don't know why. Okay, it's in beta, so yeah, bear that in mind. It's in beta. So I'm just going to press the Windows key just to show you guys this. So if I right click here and I go to Task Manager and I open this up and I go to Performance over here, as you can see, there's my CPU. Like I said, I'm running a 14700K, and then I have a bunch of M.2s, not SSDs. I have 32 gigs of DDR5 memory running at 6000 megahertz, and I have my RTX 4070 Super. That's what I'm currently running at this very moment. Now I'm going to close out of this and I'm going to come back into the game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just as an example to you, this is with my rig that I'm running. Look at the auto settings, okay? So this is automatically picking up my graphics settings that it wants me to play my game at, okay? This is what it wants me to play my game at. Now, having this like this, I'll come to this just now just to show you what's going on here. Come here to advance and don't have this at custom. Just have it in modify, come to modify and come inside here. Have your fixed render resolution or your render scale basically at 100. Do not drop this because it's going to then do the resolution of your screen. So if you have a 720p screen, it will do 720p resolution. If you have 1080p, it will do 1080p. If you have 1440p, it will do 1440p. If you have a 4K screen, it will do 4K. Now, I highly recommend do not dip this number to try and get more performance out of your game or more FPS out of your game. Your game's going to start looking like absolute dog shit, and you don't want that. Trust me, you don't. All right. You get a frame rate limiter. Okay, a lot of people could be using this right now at this very moment. If you are playing around in this game and you turn it on, and let's say you are only achieving like you can see in the menus right now, I'm achieving 170, so I'll dip it by 30 FPS, so that will be like 130. So if I go here to 130, I'll leave it like this and run my game at 130 rather than seeing 160 while I'm playing the game. I'll rather stop it at 130 to have a smoother gameplay experience in general. The gameplay will just be so much smoother because you have that extra 30 FPS that's running that you know that you can achieve. But it's going to then stop at 130. Have it like this, okay? So whatever you are getting, dip it 30 FPS lower and leave it like that, okay? That's what I suggest, and I highly recommend this for all users out there in general. It runs really, really well like this. But if you're one of those people that's chasing frames, just go ahead and leave it at 240. Leave it like that, and you should be fine. Yeah, you should be fine like this. Dynamic resolution scale, you can turn this off. NVIDIA reflex low latency, if you have this option, please enable plus boost. Turn this on and leave it like this and you should be fine. A lot of people right now at this very moment are saying that you should turn this off. I would turn this off on a very low-end machine. I mean, I'm talking about really low-end machines. If you've got a really low-end machine, turn this off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to make this video too long. I'm going to make it short, sweet, and simple and just show you the bare bones of the settings to get a smooth gameplay experience, all right? Okay, so in general, if you have a very shitty machine and you know you got one, and it's running the game like absolute dog shit, literally on all the lowest settings, and you're trying everything, have this at off, okay? If you've got a good enough computer, like just a decent machine in general, go to TAA. You do not need to have this at FSR native AA, this at XESS native AA. You do not need that. You just want TAA, so you don't have jagged edges happening in your game, and just in general object having like blur effects and stuff like that that you don't want to see, because you want to be able to see characters and enemies and stuff like that, and your game shouldn't be looking like trash, you know. So have this at TAA. If your low-end machine or medium-end machine can handle TAA, put it on and try your game. Test it out and see if it works. Upscaling technique, look, there is a lot of them out there. If you are a AMD user, you can use FSR because it's actually called AMD FSR. This is meant for AMD cards. Then you get DLSS for NVIDIA cards and stuff like that. For me right now, at this very moment, I'm turning this shit off and I leave it off. It's my personal preference. So for you guys out there that's using a different type of upscaling technique, just go ahead and use it and try it out. So if you have an AMD card, use FSR. If you have an NVIDIA card, use DLSS and stuff like that. You should be fine. Okay, then you get AMD frame generation. I turn this completely off. If you turn this on and your game runs perfectly fine, then have it on. It's just going to create fake AI created frames for you, and you're going to see, like, I don't know, let's say I'm doing like 150 frames right now at this very moment. I'm going to see basically 300, sorry, double the FPS, but I'm still doing my 150, you know. So I don't really recommend it because it's actually fake AI created frames. But yet again, there will be a huge debate in the comment section where people's going to be like, yo dude, when I put this on, my game runs perfectly fine, and there's no stutters, no nothing. If you're getting that, right, okay, and your game runs perfectly fine with frame generation on in general, then turn it on and play your game like that. If it satisfies you, if it makes your game run perfectly fine, then use it. I don't. My own personal preference. Okay, all right, we get the future frame rendering. I mean, you could turn this on. It literally says you on the right hand side, enable future frame rendering to increase visual smoothness at the cost of input lag. Now this will literally give you input lag. Okay, it will give you a little bit more visuals in the game. Yes, the game will look a little bit better, but do you want to sacrifice that to have input latency and input lag in the game, so your game's going to start feeling like choppy and stuff like that? You don't want that, so turn this off. Okay, these are very important, the advanced settings. It's very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, you do not need to have this like this, the advanced, because you don't need to see all of this shit on your screen while you're playing the game, like constantly. Like, you really don't. Okay, you can have it at extra if you want, but simple is perfectly fine because it will run you on the right hand side of your screen. I'm using MSI Afterburner over here, as you can see, so just have it at simple and you should be fine. Don't turn it off, actually turn it on, have it at simple, and see what your CPU is doing and see what your GPU is doing. All right, so that you know what your machine's capable of doing while playing the game. All right, so advanced settings, ladies and gentlemen, leave it like as is, like this, and you should be fine. This is the advanced settings, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave it like this. Now I'm just going to make an example to you. Let's jump straight into this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I am in the firing range, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, I did turn the sound off so it's not like irritating in the background or whatever the case might be. So I'm like in the game right now. I'm just going to shoot, and then I'm going to reload. As you can see, the detail on the gun's perfectly fine, and this is literally like the auto settings. So I'm just going to look around, like run and look around and stuff. So as you can see there, I'm dipping into the 130s. All right, 140, 130s again, you know, just going to do that, reload, and stand here. All right, now if I press escape and I go to menu, and I go to the settings, and I go to graphics, and I come over here and I go to graphics and I go to modify, as you can see, it's at auto and it's giving me low settings. Everything is at low right now. Okay, so auto will automatically give me my best settings. These things aren't actually at low right now because I can physically go too low like this and then press escape, and then press escape, and then go back into the firing range. You'll see how the game looks. Now, look how bright the game is. So it looks like I'm basically playing Half-Life right now at this very moment. I'm just going to shoot that and reload. The game still looks fine at low, ladies and gentlemen. So if you got a low-end machine, run it at low. It runs fine. But then run everything at low, okay? Like, you can still tweak a couple of other things. Like, I'll just make an example to you guys. So go to graphics and you go to your modify and you come inside here, so you can see it's at low, and then you can have medium, you can have high, and you can have ultra, and then you can have custom. So low is really, really good, but let's go over the best that you can go for right now at this very moment to have a competitive gameplay and in general have a smooth gameplay experience. Okay, so your texture quality on high-end machines, go with high. Okay, on low-end machines, go with low. Okay, texture filtering, you can go with high on high-end machines and then low on low-end machines. Mesh quality, you can go to ultra with a good computer. I wouldn't recommend it. Rather go to high. And then a medium-end machine to a low-end machine, go to medium over here. Terrain quality, high-end machines on high, and then medium to low-end machines on medium. All right. Undergrowth quality, I would highly recommend just leaving this at high with a decent machine, and then medium on a low-end machine to basically medium to a low-end machine. Effects quality, you obviously just going to have this at like low. You do not really need to see the effects unless you got a really decent machine. Then go ahead and put this at high, right? Leave this at low. You don't really need this, to be honest with you. For metric quality, you don't need this either. If you got a high-end machine, put this at high. If you don't need this and you don't want to see this at all, and your machine's struggling with FPS, volumetric quality at low. Lighting quality at high with a high-end machine, at low with a medium to a low-end machine. A local lighting and shadow quality, have this at low. You do not need this. All right, sun shadow quality, you can put this at medium as well to low. You do not need to see all of these things. You really don't. It just messes with your FPS. All right, just in general, it's an FPS hogger, so I would leave this at low. Then the shading filtering, this is PCSS, and this is PCF. I would run PCF. I'll show you now in the firing range that it still looks exactly the same. Then reflection quality we have at high right now at this very moment. I'm just going to go to medium and leave it there because reflections are actually a little bit of a thing in the game that you want to see. You don't want to put everything at low because then the game's going to start looking like dog shit and you don't want that, right? Screen space reflections. I always tell people to turn this the fuck off in general in games because you don't really need it, especially in a multiplayer game, all right? Post-processing quality ultra right now, as you can see it's at ultra. You can go ahead and put this at high, all right? So that is just in general the post-processing that it's doing. So like your CPU and your GPU, what it's rendering in and stuff like that, I would put this at high, just in general, okay? Then you get this one over here. What I would do over here is just turn this the fuck off completely. Just turn it off and leave it off, all right? And then this one over here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the objects amounts, and I would just, in general, leave this at medium. So basically, this is what you're looking at settings, and then you can press escape, and then you can press escape, and you can go back to the firing range. I'm going to come into the firing range, and as you can see, I'm back in the firing range right now, and this is how the game looks now. It's not so bright anymore. This is with custom settings. So, yeah, just in general, the game still runs perfectly fine like this. It runs really smooth. Like, in general, it still runs smooth. The game's details is really good still. Like, the game still runs smooth. You know, I'm trying to slide cancel, even though I'm crouching, as you can see. I'm trying to slide cancel, but I'm not. Because everyone thinks that like it's like Call of Duty, because this isn't fucking Call of Duty, it's Battlefield. You're not going to start slide canceling and doing like omni movement because it's not going to work. Like, how the hell can you do omni movement in a Battlefield game if that's meant for Call of Duty? But anyways, so ladies and gentlemen, just in general, like what I would recommend is running your game like that. Okay, so coming to settings and then having your graphics, like I said, modified over here and advanced, and have it like this. You should be fine, okay? And then go back to graphics and then come to modify and modify your graphic settings like this, exactly like this. You'll have a smooth gameplay experience. Number one, a smooth gameplay experience, and also your game will look fine. Your game will look perfectly fine if you're struggling with this game. Now, if you are not struggling with this game, ladies and gentlemen, if you aren't struggling with this game at all, okay, then I would highly recommend you go to high here. Texture filtering, you go to high. You do not need ultra. High, okay. Mesh quality, high as well. Terrain quality, high as well. Then this at high, this at... You can put this at high if you want to, but I wouldn't because it's just effects, you know. Volumetric quality, again, just fucking low. You don't need this. Lighting quality, this you can then put at high. Local light and shadow quality, you can put this at high. Then your sun shadow quality, you can actually put this at high as well. Not ultra, just high. This one you can now change to PCSS. And then this one over here, reflection quality at high. Screen space reflections at high as well. This at high, not at ultra. And then this one over here, you can actually go to this one over here, which is SSGI low. It's not bad, but this one's actually better, all right? And then this one over here, you can go to high as well. Now, I'm just going to press escape and then just say okay, and press escape, and then actually go into the firing range, and just show you that I'm in the firing range again, and I'm dipping a little bit in FPS right now, but my game is a little bit like, it looks better in general, like it looks better, but you do need to do a full restart on the game. You need to do a full restart for all the settings to take effect. It looks a little bit better. That's my problem, ladies and gentlemen. You can literally run this game at low settings to medium settings if you need that FPS, right? And the game will still basically look exactly the same. So you do not need to run this game at high settings. You don't need to. If you can, go ahead and do so. But if you can't, and your game can't handle that high and ultra settings and stuff like that, you don't need to run the game like that. You really fucking don't need to, right? So I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to go to settings and go to graphics again, and come back inside here and come to modify, and then go to just low, all right, and press escape, and then come here and go to firing range. And then as you can see, this is me being in the firing range at low settings. Like I said, the game still looks fine. I mean, the game looks perfectly fine running it like this. Run your game like this. You do not need to use the best of settings. Yes, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you can tweak your settings the way you want to by customizing your settings, okay? Customize your settings to your own personal liking and tweak things that you would like to see and what you would not like to see. Like, like simple things like effects. If you don't need to see that, turn it the fuck off, or turn it to low. You don't need to put it at ultra or high, okay? This is just in general the beta version, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll make a way more in-depth video for the full release. I will make a way more in-depth video where I'll actually tell you what to be using, like specifically every single setting, what to be using and what you shouldn't be using. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to go back to the main menu quickly, and then I'm going to go to settings over here. There's a lot of other things inside here, like gameplay. There is obviously the mouse and keyboard things that you can do, and controller, for instance, and your audio settings. Like I said, I went to go ahead and turn the sound off. I can turn it back on now. As you can hear, the sound's back, but I turned it off so I can make this video, right? Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, so that's just in general, like, graphics. This is more to do with graphics, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I made this video. It's to do with the graphics, okay? Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, once this game is fully released, I'm talking fully released, okay? Then, yet, again, I'm going to leave this as is, like this. I'm probably going to change like one or two things maybe, but I'm going to leave this as is in the advanced section. I'm going to go back to graphics and then come to modify over here. This I will go in depth with, ladies and gentlemen, the customize. I will go in depth with them and test every single thing here. And go into a game, come out, 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 go into a game. You get my point. I'm going to test everything once this game's completely out. It's still in open beta, ladies and gentlemen. So there's no point in me like showing you the best of settings right now. Then the full release comes out and they start tweaking things. Because then I'm going to have to make videos upon videos upon videos upon videos. I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. It's a lot of time and dedication and just effort. I would rather put that one dedication and time and effort into that one video that you guys are just going to watch, and then you don't have to watch settings videos again. You just watch that one video when the game gets released and you should be done. And then, yeah, once this game does an update or it gets a season or something like that, then, yeah, I will make another video for you guys. But you get my drift, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if this worked for you, smash the like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new here, and as always, hope this helped you, and peace out.